Harrisburg Stampede. Justin Coble with
I
us.
gotta change the freaking.
Oh, there it is.
Basically, they were
It's
playing
Major
Major League with a real game. Yeah.
Oh, shit. There's the Hattie.
Welcome to episode 93 of the Non-Linear Sports Podcast. My name is Jason.
I'm David.
And thanks for joining us here on Sports Talk for the Average Joe. Let's just get right into it from last episode. The reactions I've gotten from people about last episode tells me that it was the right thing to do.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine some of the reactions.
I sent you one of them.
Yeah, you did.
It was the live reaction to the final story, which clearly we lucked into telling that one last, being that's the one that's gotten the biggest reaction.
That was fun.
And I had someone follow up. Did you ever find out how he got home? And I had to explain, well, we don't talk to him anymore. So we don't. Again, he's alive, so he got home somehow.
I have no idea. I have no clue.
One of the persons in the stories reached out and was like, "Why do you do that voice for me?" And I go, "You're asking now. After all these years, you're asking now." But that last episode got a great reaction. A lot of people really enjoyed us just talking about our friendship over the years and just some of the shenanigans we've gotten into.
Shenanigans, yes. That definitely is a good name for it.
Oh, I'm so jealous you got a Mountain Dew right now. I had my first Mountain Dew in like a month yesterday, and it was the most glorious thing I've ever drank in my life.
Well, I have no coffee right now because I didn't make it. Forgot to make it, so yeah. Or I would be having a cup of coffee right now.
Do we need to pause and you can go make a cup of coffee quick?
No, I'm good. I'm fine.
Right,
I will have my cup of coffee after the show.
Well, I think at some point we'll have to do another story time episode. Because that's just grazing the surface of 20 years of friendship.
Yeah, that it is. That it is grazing. That's just etching it a little bit. That's not even the full.
It's not Etch-a-Sketch. Well, if it was an Etch-a-Sketch, there'd be reasons why David doesn't remember some of the things. It got shook up a little too much over the years.
Don't Etch-a-Sketch. It not might be. It is an Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh, God.
I knew something stupid. Right. What was that?
Last night we were at the Williams Valley Minersville game, and obviously we sat with Dave and his wife Hannah. And Dave goes, "I'm amazed that chicken tender did not disintegrate in the weather." I'm like,
the damn chicken tender. Or something ate it. I mean, we were shocked that it was still there for all that time.
It was there for a long time. A long time. I love that we're getting into the scientific aspect of a half chicken tender in the snow in 2005. Good morning, as David would say.
Good Lord.
All right, let's get into this. I'm glad you suggested this one because I literally had a discussion about this with both Jamie and my new agent in my unit.
By the way, I did one more side note. I am not surprised that Jamie agreed with me when I sent you that picture of what should be either a Winter Classic or a Stadium Series, which I sent Jason a message because I saw this. I forget who posted on Facebook. The one time I was on Facebook anymore. It was, this should happen for the Blackhawks and the Ducks when they play, which was the Mighty Ducks versions of a Hawks jersey and a Ducks jersey. And I'm thinking
specifically from the first
from the
film.
Mighty Ducks, specifically from the first film. I'm like, that should be a Stadium Series game or a Winter Classic, and have those jerseys. That would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
that would be. Okay.
And Fanatics, just think of the mint you'd make on that.
Oh my God.
Are they start making the jerseys this season, right? Is it this season?
I can't remember. I think I can't remember. Damn, that's a sketch.
Hold on.
I know
We're doing yep, beginning 2024,
okay.
2025.
There you
So
go.
this is the season Fanatics takes over the jerseys. Hint, hint. All right.
Hey, we've got a lot of we predicted a lot of things.
We have
The bubble.
Bubble Works. Yep, there we go. Um
93 episodes later, and there it still comes up.
oh, it worked.
It
I
did.
mean,
Got the job done, didn't it?
there are sports we talked about that have been on that have since we've talked about them have been on the Ocho when ESPN does their obscure sports day. Um
Please tell me the
so
snowball one was on it.
it has not made it yet.
Oh, I thought
No.
that would have been one.
We should talk about the Ocho one year, just because we as a family look forward to the slippery stairs competition.
I've seen a highlight of that. I'm like, well, oddly enough, the other night, me and a neighbor up the street we were watching a UFC fight, and we're like, what else is on? I think it's called Papa Shot or something, where it was like arcade basketball.
Oh yeah,
That
you'd
was the
clean up in that.
competition. It's like that was the competition. I'm like, really? This
That
is
was
actually
on
a
the Ocho.
televised. This is literally a televised sport.
So if you put on ESPN News, because ESPN News like runs this stuff all the time,
I forget when
but
it was on.
ESPN itself has
Again, we
one
were
day
drinking.
dedicated to it.
Again, we were
Um,
drinking, so
so a
that's a
lot of
sketch
these
brain.
things that you're watching on the Ocho when they air it, it's either something that's already aired on ESPN News or it's something that has aired like on YouTube and ESPN bought the rights for a day. Or ESPN's hosting it itself. Like they did with the Pillow Fight League and they did with I think it's AWA
Pillow
Wiffle Ball. I'm
fight.
not sure. No, you got to watch that Pillow Fight League. That's some vicious shit. Dudes are doing spinning backhands with these like weighted pillows. We sat and watched it. It was because it's all former MMA guys doing it.
Oh, damn. All right, I guess I must have to figure it out then. Must have
But
to
now
find
you
it.
would clean up in Papa Shot because low key, David's never going to talk about this. Dude is ridiculous at arcade basketball.
Dude, I've not been in an arcade in I can't remember how long.
The last time I saw you play it, he was like one after another draining them. Like he got the big ticket win that day because
I mean, the whole thing is once you find that one rhythm, you just stick with that rhythm. And that's really all it was. Yeah,
I'm telling you, you
I've
clean
not been
up.
I've not been in an arcade in I can't remember how long. I can't
Well,
remember.
well, now we gotta get you to Dave and Buster's. Get some wings and get some beer and get you going on the Papa Shot.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. Drink and stumble around the arcade. Not even walk, just stumble.
All right,
Yeah.
let's try this again. Take two. All right. But yeah, so this is a topic I had talked about with Jamie. I talked about with my new guy in my unit, Dakota. He's a big sports guy. He's fucking younger than us. I've been calling him kid. Um, like I'm an old coach or manager. Um,
Listen here, son.
okay, I'm gonna. You know what? Okay, anyway, should Tua retire after his next concussion? Because this is ridiculous now.
Well, he has
I
three in the past 2 years.
He's had three. He had two of them back to back last
Yeah.
season,
In
and
the
he had
22
that
season, well, in
scary.
the 22 season, he had two.
Jesus.
In the 22 season, he had two, and his third one was Thursday. But the
Because
fact of it's just it's going to get
he had that
worse.
scary moment last season. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Where he like collapsed on the field after a snap.
Yeah.
That should have been when the team. I think we even talked about it then. that's when the team should step in and say, no, you are a health liability. You need to take time off. Because I'm sorry, this kid's gonna die on the field. Stop putting him in. Either he should have the common sense to retire. No one saw the face I just made to David. Uh, um, he should retire, or the team should force him to retire. Keep him on payroll. Pay him everything that you offered to pay him. But a guy's career in the NFL is short enough, and either he wears the guardian cap or he retires.
Well, you know yourself, nobody's going to want to wear that guardian cap because, well, macho man here. Who cares? It's your
Who
health.
gives a fuck about how it looks?
Exactly. It's your health.
Players can wear them in the game now. Their safety is far more important than how it fucking looks.
And a concussion, okay, yeah, right now you might feel fine, but down the road, that could cause so many more issues. So many more. Because that could basically turn your mental health into a disaster at that point.
I forget who it was, but it was a player on the Colts basically said, I'm gonna wear a guardian cap so that he's like, I'm smart enough to wear a guardian cap now because I don't want to be stupid later.
There you go. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it's just.
I'm just saying, this kid, Tua needs to just either they force him to retire or he needs to just do it himself. But
what is the NFL's concussion protocol? Like, is it so many concussions? Okay, you're done. You should just retire. You know what is that aspect? I'm trying to find that here because it shows here. Let's see here. What is the NFL 3 concussion rule? Should just a really quick article. Should not be exposed to further body contact trauma. So at that point, it should be okay, done. But will it? Is the question. I mean, even several concussions can cause depression, anger, management loss. That too, memory loss, and other symptoms. So right there alone, depression, anger, memory loss. Bam. And who he could be down that road. And things though his family.
Right.
He's
a young man. And I'm sure if he was to retire,
he's only 26.
Someone's going to snap him up to be an analyst of some kind, whether it's NFL Network or ESPN or FS1 or CBS, or someone will pick him up and pay him to do something. But if I'm the Dolphins front office, I'm sitting him down, I'm talking to him, and I'm explaining, look, we'll pay you, but you're done playing quarterback.
Because how many issues, not just with football, but with sports in general, have we heard of players just having mental breakdowns because of several concussions?
Well, okay, so we had this discussion at work. We were talking about CTE in a team meeting of all places. And look, everyone knows I'm a wrestling fan. Guess who became the de facto Chris Benoit expert in this meeting?
No, you don't say.
But it was found, like, his parents donated his brain to science, and it was examined, and he had CTE. And it was a combination of him doing that diving headbutt off the top rope with not protecting himself when he landed. And when he would take a chair shot, he would take it to the back of his head, which is the most susceptible part of the skull. I find it, speaking of concussions, and we're really sidebarring here, Mick Foley, very famous professional wrestler, he has 7 diagnosed concussions, and he has said that
Wow.
over the course of his career, he probably has had undiagnosed in the double digits.
I mean, I can imagine, especially him, the way he
He
performed.
sacrificed his body for the business. Yeah. Well, look at boxers. Look, I mean, not that there's a legitimate link between Parkinson's and concussions, but look at Ali, man. Those
Yeah.
last few fights in the late 70s, early 80s, like you can't tell me that concussions didn't play a role in his ability to fight at that point. Because Ali's whole thing was rope-a-dope. He would take shots and let guys tire them out because his conditioning was so superior at the time. Look
Yeah.
at MMA. I mean,
What's nice though with MMA, it's not just you're going for headshots.
no, but
That I think it's not a
it's
solution.
also
It's not a
it's
solution,
also a
but it
lighter
helps.
glove.
Yeah. And so I mean,
Look
yeah,
here's another one I'm going to throw out there, and it's going to piss you off, but we got to be honest about it. Sidney Crosby, the concussion kid.
he should be well, it's not going to piss me off because yes, I'm not a fan of the guy because well, he's a Penguin and he's he came into the league with a golden spoon. It's supposed to be the next one. But as a player, he has brought a lot to the game, yes. He is a hell of a player, yes. Should he continue to be playing? No, because of the amount of concussions he has had.
The wind blows and he gets a concussion.
I mean,
sorry.
Well,
sorry.
I mean,
he's very susceptible to them.
There's a number of, well, look at any player. Look at even just with football. You get 3 concussions, you should be sitting out. What's that rule with hockey? Because to me, hockey is one of those sports to where you can get a concussion easily because of the high impact hits at high speeds.
High impact hits, the puck.
I mean, look how many players went out just because they got hit to the head. They had to sit out for at least a shift or two just for a concussion protocol.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm just shocked that there's not more to help. I know they're constantly trying to redesign helmets to help with concussions. You can only take that so far, though.
Right.
You can only take it so far.
Well, I mean, I think, if we're going to be, and this goes back to something we've talked about for a long time, I think it's a twofold reason why the enforcer role is gone, because our knowledge of concussions, and they've always wanted to speed the game up to be a more European style of hockey. But at the same time, enforcers also prevent concussions. We had this discussion how many times over the years, specifically about Sidney Crosby. Like, would his career be different if he had an enforcer like Gretzky had? Someone to protect him.
I want to say yes and no, because I remember the one concussion that he had, he just went into the guy's elbow. He just turned and there it was. And that was, I think, at the Winter Classic against Washington when it was in Pittsburgh. But if I remember right, all Crosby did was just went to turn up the ice and, oh, look, there's a player. Oh, look, there's an elbow. Oh, look, there's my head.
Well, and that's another thing.
And that's uncontrollable. With oh shit moments like that, that's uncontrollable.
But if you have enforcers, how many cheap shots are there going to be? Because there's going to be someone waiting if you have enforcers back in the game. So elbows and cheap shots aren't going to be as prevalent as they've become.
No, they're not going to be out there as often, but
cheap shots, I'm going to argue, are probably more dangerous than a legitimate hit.
Oh my God, yeah, because a cheap shot can, you catch a guy off guard, he's not going to brace him, he can't brace himself and he goes down. That's really it. You hurt yourself more. It's just, but when But then again, the guy that Crosby ran into, it was taller than Crosby, so his head was at at the guy's height for for his elbow. So it wasn't like it was one of those.
Right.
But I just feel the Dolphins just need to just say you're done, just because of this.
Yeah, I
He
think
he has a wife and kids, so I think he has what, 2 kids? I think I read. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, 2 kids. So just call it at this point. I mean, is it really worth it? You're still going to get paid good money.
They should absolutely offer to still pay him if they force him into retirement. Don't pull the Nationals with Steven Strasburg, where now they don't want to pay him, even though they forced him into retirement.
Well, aren't they obligated with his contract?
That's, I think, a lawsuit.
Yeah, because if it's his
I mean, I'm not a
contract,
Nationals fan, so I'm not keeping track of it. But I knew when
well,
he
I'm just saying in
retired,
general.
they were trying to not pay him the rest of his contract.
I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, if there's a
And then they
contract,
wonder
so
why Harper left.
I mean,
Anyway,
there's a contract, so they should not be honoring that contract, even if it's a forced retirement. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either. It's not my place to know. So,
No, either of our place, but hey, we still try.
but yeah, I think at this point it's time for Tua just to look in the mirror, accept that I have a future after football. And I think that's the most dangerous thing for some of these guys is they don't realize they have a future after whatever sport they're playing. And that's why a lot of guys do a lot of damage to themselves, and then they're a shell of themselves after the game.
Well, think of it. You play a sport for several years, a sport that you love, the sport that you're passionate about, then all of a sudden it's cut. That's all you knew. That's all that you have done.
Right.
You woke up to a routine every day. You ate the same things every day for this routine. You've done the same things. Then all of a sudden,
Well,
you're done.
that's not what I'm talking about so much as like you've destroyed your future because you couldn't let go. Like it's your third concussion. You're doing clearly there's damage being done because the nation and probably the world saw you collapse on the field before a snap. Like that's a scary situation, and that's a situation where your body's telling you, like, that's a warning sign to me.
Yeah, it should be a you're done. Let's just, move on.
And the first thing I thought of, and I'm sure a lot of other people thought of, is when the report of that concussion on Thursday night happened, that image of him collapsing was what immediately came into my head.
Oh my God. How could it? How could it not? I mean, but yeah, who knows? It's going to be what's going to be. I mean, they're probably not going to force him into it or let it up to him, and that's what's just going to end up
to be
being.
fair, I don't really trust the Dolphins front office based on how they've handled this prior to.
But
because there were calls after the second one for him to retire, and they're like, "Oh, we'll let him play." All right, well, it's blood on your hands. Anyway, I'm done because I could go off on this.
They're making their money; they don't care, I guess, at that point. Even though they should care about a person's future rather than just the bank of him.
That's the difference between some teams and others.
Yeah, so I'm good on this. Are you?
Yep, I'm good.
That's the end of the first half, and we will be right back.